Oh, we're live.
Yes,
Hey,
we are.
Deb.
Hello.
Hello and welcome everyone for another industry live on Tuesday. How you doing, Deb?
Good. Hey, everybody. It's Deb over here.
Yeah, it's that Kimberly and Deb. We appreciate you stopping by, joining us for a little conversation that we like to call staying in our lane and just sharing our knowledge from our
Mhm.
personal experiences as well as our guests.
Right.
So, who do we have on today, Deb?
So today we have our friend Christi Wedel, and we're going to talk about empathy in the workplace. I'm super excited about this subject because I know that, she's a long-term industry veteran. So I
Hmm.
know she's going to have some industry perspective and insight on this. And I just, I think this is a huge, important topic right now for everyone.
Yeah,
So,
so important. We're going to have two little discussions on it this week and next, just a little sneak peek for next week. But before we jump into this and go live, wherever you're watching from, which is Facebook, both Deb's Facebook, personal Facebook page, my business Facebook page, my personal LinkedIn or YouTube, wherever you're watching, please leave a question. Let us know in the comments if there is a question. We'll definitely answer while we're live. And if you catch this on the replay, because we are live, put hashtag replay and let us know where you're watching from. Very important. And if there is a certain topic that you want to hear about, please let us know because this is a live for the people. Right, Deb?
yes, yes, we want your questions. We want to know what topics you want to talk about. We want to hear all the things from you. So definitely
Yeah.
chime in.
Yeah. And if you want to be on, message us too. So,
Yes.
okay. Did I miss anything before we jump into this and we bring Christy on
No,
air?
well, I think we're ready to bring Christy in.
Okay. Hi,
Hello.
Christy.
Hi,
How are
everyone.
you doing today?
I am well. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great.
Good.
So, for the sake of time, let's make sure that we jump into this. And my first question to you would be, what is your definition of empathy?
Well, so researching this topic, I found this definition in a book, and it is so poetic. And it states empathy is about finding echoes of another person in yourself. And
Hmm.
so
I
what
like
that
that.
means to me is, really listening intently when someone else is talking, and listening with those open ears and not deciding that I know what you're going to say, so I just need to jump in, right?
Yeah.
So what do you
Yeah.
guys think about that?
No, I think that's a great definition for empathy. And I feel for me, I did not, and it wasn't until I got older that I could really
Mhm,
understand that. Until I ran my own
mhm.
company, could I really understand that to be able to put everything down and listen to the other person and focus on what it is that they're saying and putting myself in their shoes, walking. My dad always said, don't judge a person until you walk a mile in their shoes. It's true, but that really I didn't connect the word empathy with that. Right. So,
Right.
and now more than ever in the last 2 years, it's definitely been
Right.
something that I'm way more heightened to, you know, because of
Yeah, and
things.
it seems like it's one of those buzzwords, right, that has come about the last few years. But you just nailed it on the head. Like, this word has been around and its meaning has been around for a long time.
Hmm.
But somewhere along the way in our industry, I feel like we sort of lost that empathy, and it's no one's fault, right? Like, we
Yeah.
just life happened, and
Yeah.
being on site is crazy busy, and being a supervisor, it's super busy. And so we got so busy being busy, we forgot about our folks. We forgot
Yeah.
about the people who run our business.
Yeah, I feel that we put some, not everybody. I mean, there were certain people, because I feel like I was shown empathy when I started because I didn't know anybody in the industry, and a lot of people showed me empathy in different ways, as you know, as it related to business. And as we started growing our team and having people underneath us or working with us, I should say, I really put myself in their shoes when they would come to me, and I would remember, well, what would happen when I would go to my boss or whoever I worked with, and like I would want to be opposite. You know, I wanted to be better than the experience I had from my corporate world, if you will, right? So
Right.
it was, and I think that it wasn't lost for most people. I think they just didn't show it as much. Now more than ever, they know to survive in business, we have to put ourselves in that other person's position, and be more empathetic, because it's you know, it's the world we live in. It's not. I mean, it's. I don't even know. I'm at a loss for words, but I just know that we have to be mindful of it, right?
Right.
For our day to day. So, what are some examples?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, what are some examples of empathy that you've seen? You know, that you've been involved with in the workplace?
You know, when I think back on my experience, I remember Hurricane Katrina. So that's going to date me. If you can't tell by the wrinkles on my face, that will date me enough. But I remember how the company that I worked for at the time, how empathetic we were as an organization. And I worked for one of the largest management companies in the country at that point. And still, we were able to have empathy for folks and really put that empathy in action, right? So having empathy for someone and putting that into action can be two different things. And I think it's important that, you know, we remember, you know, as I do, I remember how the looks on those people's faces and how they came back later and said, you know, because of what you guys did, I now have my family in an apartment. We're safe. We have furniture. And so, you know, I had an opportunity to be a part of that, and it stayed with me forever. So,
yeah, definitely.
you know, and that's definitely a more extreme example. But, you know, Kimberly and I were talking, and Deb, a little earlier about how can we relate this to our everyday life on site, right? And so, you know, I would say that if you are, let's say, a community director, community manager, right? And you have someone who comes into your office and they're late again, and they can't seem to get the reports on time. And, you know, there's always an excuse. You know, instead of being really harsh on them, stop and listen. Now, obviously, there's room for disciplinary action when it's necessary, but maybe their dog just passed away or something horrible happened that morning. And so we have to practice empathy long term and not just when it's convenient.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think everybody got that practice, but at the same time, they're going through something with their own families. So so they have to, everybody's having to, you know, for example, if something happens, you get cut off, or, you know, while you're driving, or, you remembering what it was like, right? To be, you know, maybe something was going on in the world that they're not paying attention to. So, I mean, and that's a small start for people who might not be as empathetic as they need to be, you know, in life. But I remember I used to get the best advice from my old business partner, Janet. She'd always say, maybe it's not about you, you know. You know, when I would, and that stuck with me from the very, very beginning of our days, you know, like maybe it's not about me, you know. And so just practicing, you know, that little voice going off in my head, and then listening to them, like putting everything down and listening to what was going on, it definitely helped me, you know, be better at that, you know, showing empathy to them, whoever.
Without a doubt. And, you know, isn't it wonderful, as you mentioned, a seasoned, tenured employee? I feel so old when people say that, but it's true. And I'm okay with that. Right. Like,
Yeah.
but what, it's so cool for us to be, because you and I both came into the industry right around the same, we've known each other for a while, we'll just say that. And, I think both of us have had truly empathetic leaders in our lives. And so I choose to emulate them. And and I think it's super important now more than ever. Our on-site teams have, and we'll little teaser here, we'll get into more details next week on this, but our on-site teams need to be loved on, and they need empathy, now more than ever.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody does,
Yes.
everybody that you can like, it is just a little kindness goes a long way when it comes to, and patience, taking that deep breath before you just blow up at someone. If I'm having a bad day and come across somebody on site, or, or a coworker or a client, like taking a deep breath, knowing that this doesn't have to, whatever, and that portrays back, like you can put out that same energy. I'm sorry, my earpiece keeps falling on me. But yeah, you have to think about, take that deep breath first, right? Before you just unleash on them.
Yes.
So yeah.
I've actually added, Kimberly, that to all of my training sessions now, whether it is an executive leadership training or a leasing training, is what is most important before we even start in with training is where is your mindset at the beginning of the day? Because, and that's a whole nother topic for another day.
Well, no, but that's great.
It's so true.
Empathy, showing how, because that is how you show empathy in the workspace, how you start, right? Where your mindset is when you come in, or when you turn on that computer, when you look at your, social media or whatever it is, when you start your day, where's that mindset? And it makes a difference. I have started listening to a lot of podcasts, and Jay Shetty and Brene Brown, shout out to Amanda Shrabandi for introducing me to her. But I got introduced to I got to see Jay Shetty, and they both talk about where your mindset is, right? Where your mindset is, and taking the step back to take that deep breath, and having some moments in the morning to set your mindset in a good, positive fashion, so that you can have a positive day, and it's not just smack. Really, I've noticed that those, taking that check in the morning of, I wouldn't say deep meditation, because I'm definitely ADD, so that, but enjoying, like sitting out on the patio, enjoying my coffee, writing in my journal, things like that are very important before
Absolutely.
I start my day. How do you do that? Like, what is your, what do you do before you start your day when it comes to, empathy and in the workplace?
Well, I think that, no, it's not that I think, I'm 100% certain that if you start your day with social media, you're not going to be in the right mindset. And I know we're on social media, so that sounds kind of funny and weird. But I say that because I want to challenge folks to take a look at what we do in the first 5 minutes of our day, right? So I don't want to get too like life coachy on your crowd, because that is what I do on the side. But it's true. Like for me, as soon as before my eyes open, really, I do a morning meditation, right? And so mine is of the spiritual nature, but it could be anything really. But it's just a matter of, hey, thinking positive thoughts, right? Like today I'm going to this, and this. Today I'm not going to, whether it's manifestation, some people do that. But for me, again, it's just about 5 or 10 minutes of reading and focusing my mind on things that are bigger and better than me, if that makes sense.
No, I do a little bit of both. I get it.
Yeah. And that to me, that sets up my whole day, right? That lets me know that no matter what, if that person cuts me off or flips me off, let's get real, that happens in Dallas, Texas traffic. I don't take things as personally. I like you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, I realize, wow, that person has something going on, or maybe
Yeah.
they're busy reading a text, which happens a lot, or what
Yeah.
have you. But it wasn't personally an attack on me, and I think
Yeah.
that that's how I'm able to be as empathetic as I am,
Mhm.
is to really just get my mind right in the first 5 minutes of my day.
Yeah, for sure. I always think back to, how would I feel, because I bartended waiting tables all through college, and a lot when I started in our industry. Um, I think back to how people would treat me, as a waiter or bartender, and it just, I don't want it, would never do that to someone else, right? If they were rude
Right.
to me, or inconsiderate, or didn't tip me, I always think back, okay, I don't want to be that person to someone else. I take a deep
Right.
breath, even if it's bad service, I still tip them what they should be tipped. I'm a 20% plus tipper, but I will talk
Yep.
to the manager, and not take
Yeah.
it out on them. I don't, because I always say maybe they're having a bad day. I don't know what it is, but I do believe that if that's not a job that you can, give a good service, or you're happy about going to, being, no matter what, if you're not in the right mindset, empathy is, you're not going to be able to you're not going to be happy, period. So
Right.
definitely, I feel that that's important.
Yes, without a doubt. And a lot of the things in training and in coaching spill right over into your personal life. As
Hmm.
you know, Kimberly, I have a 9-year-old son that I love with all my heart, and but he has special needs. And I'm telling
Yeah.
you, some days are harder than others, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And so, with that comes a special set of challenges every day. And if I didn't have my mind right, would I be as empathetic as he deserves for me to be?
Yeah.
So it spills over
Absolutely.
into personal life as well, for sure.
Yeah. Well, my skills have gotten better since my mom was diagnosed with dementia.
Mhm.
And because it is what I tell people, it's like having a child, it's reversed.
Yeah.
And as much as good as we get along, as funny as she is, at the end, she's still my mother.
Yeah.
So it's a reversed, but with a little, tweak, but it's definitely helped me be more empathetic and more patient,
Mhm.
because if I'm not always having a great day, I still need to project and be empathetic towards her, because
Right.
her mind is not the same, even though her
Right.
body and a lot of things sound the same. But it's helped me. It's spilled over into my work life. It's spilled over, even, when she was diagnosed 10 years ago, into when I had employees. Now it's just I'm a team of one. But when I
Mhm.
had employees, it definitely spilt over, because a lot of them were having kids at the time, and juggling things to make it to work, or,
Mhm.
if they couldn't find a sitter, or if a child got sick, or,
Mhm.
if there was a death in the family, things like that. Like, it definitely, no problem. Family comes first. And,
Mhm.
they were honest with us with stuff. So we created a structure where they could take time off. And if they didn't have enough time off, PTO time, we would help them figure it out, sitting down,
Yeah.
having an honest conversation with them. Right. Like, those are important things, having that skill set to figure out what it is that they need, not what we need from them, but what it is that they need to help them. Right. As a
You
leader.
know, you just absolutely nailed one of the forefront leaders in my opinion is on empathy is Simon Sinek. And I have a quote here from him, and it states basically what you just said. He says, empathy is the act of understanding another person's experience, relating to another person in a way so that you see the world as they see it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
That's a good
yeah,
one
you just
too.
mhm.
It's definitely, there are so many. I know there's the textbook, but and then there's people, like the first quote that you read. However you read it, however it comes out, it's definitely putting your yourself in that other person's shoes, right? Even though
Yeah.
we may never be able to understand that, we still in that moment putting ourselves there and seeing, to be able to talk and communicate with them.
Yeah, and I created an entire presentation and job aid on this topic last year, and one of the things that I put in there is make no mistake about it. Having empathy for others and having empathy for especially your reports or your children or what have you is not a sign of weakness. As a matter of fact, it is a sign of great strength. So
Oh yeah.
I think that's maybe there's this misconception that I am this leader at this level, therefore this is the
Yeah.
box that my people will live in. And I
Yeah.
think that if you box yourself in like that as a leader, you're doing yourself and those who report to you a big disservice.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can't. There's a structure, right? But everybody, the rules, and there's rules, right? But you can't put everybody in the same box because everybody's
Right.
different. And if you
Yeah,
approach
without
it,
a doubt. And
go ahead.
No, if you hire the right people, if you're bringing the right people on board with you, and by right,
Mhm.
I mean those people who are not only the right skills and background, but those people who culturally fit with what you are looking for,
Yeah.
then you have all, that they don't have to have a box. They know the policies, procedures, they follow the
Yeah.
rules. That's just inherently in their nature. And so
Yeah.
being
They match
empathetic with
they
those,
absolutely match. Yeah, they match your work
yeah,
culture, and they're not scared to be leaders by showing that empathy, because
exactly.
that only gives people, I agree with you that it definitely gives people strength, like other strength that helps lift, that leader up while lifting the others up, and knowing that it's a good, that it's only it's only benefiting the organization because
Mhm.
the employees are happy as well, right? The employees first, and then the organization will benefit from that. So
Without a doubt. Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
and it keeps people from getting burnt out, right? Like and keeps people having the, what's the word I'm looking for? That they know it's okay to show support, right?
Mhm.
And within the workplace, and
Well, yeah,
compassion.
I think it speaks to integrity, and I think it speaks to trust as
Hmm.
well. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, hire the right people, be empathetic, and that's going to help a lot in a
And
leadership
show
role, in
that
my
within,
opinion.
show that it's okay in the organization to be empathetic, right? By doing it yourself, presenting that as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way I see it, it's a trickle down effect, right? Like if the leader of the company is not empathetic, then the community manager is not empathetic, then the leasing
Mhm.
consultant is not empathetic, and then you just have this revolving door of residents talking, taking it back to on site. You've got people moving out because, gosh, no one seems to care. They don't even want to hear me about my
Mhm.
sink being broken for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely starts at the top.
Yeah, for sure. Um, well, tell folks, let me see, I'm wrapping up a little bit because we want to be mindful of your time and others. We try to keep this a 30-minute or less conversation, but we will definitely have you on next week to continue the topic of what were a little bit of exercise maybe, or what was
Mhm.
one of the other topics you
Yes.
were.
We're gonna have some fun next week. So this was more like, hey, why should you? Like, what's the buy-in? Why do I need to
Mhm.
be empathetic? What is it even? Next week's gonna be more fun, more interactive. We want your folks to chime in on the comment box or the chat box. We're gonna have some fun next week for sure.
Okay. Awesome. And so tell people how they can connect with you before then.
Sure. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Message me through LinkedIn anytime.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you for joining us, and we look forward to having you on again. Um, I don't know if Deb's coming back or not. I don't know if she knows. We like to have our, oh yeah, there she is. We like to have our
There she is.
producer on and off. Yes. So yes, we
Yes,
will
I'm
be.
super
Go ahead,
excited
Deb.
about next week for all the fun. I love this topic, and I really appreciate your time and just everything
Yes.
that you have to offer with it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Well, thank you
Definitely.
ladies so much for thinking of me, and it was an honor to be a part of it for sure.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. Well, great conversations.
Much needed conversations today.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
thank
I
you
love.
everyone for joining, for watching.
We have some late joiners. You can definitely join. Continue to watch on the replay #replay. So if you have a question, just leave it in the comment sections. Even though it's on the replay, we'll still see it. Or tag whoever the question is to, please. And what am I missing? I talked about the replay. Yes. You can see other episodes by just putting #industry_live wherever you're watching that from. Those hashtags are searchable, which is great.
Always, if you want to be a guest or there's a topic that you want to talk about, our contact information is on the screen. Reach out to us. We want to hear from you.
Yes, definitely. And yes, I don't know who this LinkedIn person is, but it says #replay. Yay! I'm having a little technical glitch, I guess, because I don't get to see them, but that's okay. Anyways, yeah, so we look forward to seeing everyone next Tuesday, same time, different topic. Again, we'll have Christy and it'll be Deb this time. I'll be behind the scenes working that producer role. So until then, everybody have a great week. And Deb?
Have a great week, everyone. Yay.
Bye.
It's fall.
Yes. October.
Yay. Bye.
Bye.